All right. It is now 10 minutes after, so let's begin. It's gonna be pretty simple. Everybody get Blender open. We're going through part one, Blender controls. Dun dun dun. First things first, you get into Blender. You want to move around. You gotta use the middle mouse button to rotate. And if you shift middle mouse, you pan. You can also use the num keys. Look at them, lovely. Look at them go. Which, if you don't have a numpad, because a lot of computers don't have numpads now, it was actually pretty hard to get one that did. As you can see, go to Edit, Preferences, and then for numpad, you're going to Input, and it's up at the top, which allows the upper keys to emulate it. But I don't need to do that. I have a numpad, so I'm going to turn that off. What I do use, though, is in navigation, which is orbit around selection, which will make it so you orbit around the selection. Oh yeah, and you can also use the. I looked up the name. It's called the navigation gizmo. But yeah, you can use this instead of the num keys as well. And you can also drag it, and it'll allow you to move around. All right, and now we get to step one of making a Rubik's cube. We're going to select all the objects in the scene, then we're going to label them. I use X for this, but you can also just use the delete key. Now that your scene is empty, you're going to use Shift A, go to Mesh, and make a new cube. I know. Look at it. It's so much prettier. And then I go over and navigate all the transformations. So if you look over here, you've move, rotate, scale, transform, all that. You also have the annotations stuff, but we're not going through that. But those allow you to manipulate your cube in object mode. So you do G, and that moves it around. If you hit the axis keys, which are Z, X, Y, it makes it so you're only doing it on that axis. And if you hit shift and then the key, it's the opposite. So you are moving on the other two axes. So like this. You also have S for scale. And you can cancel at any time with right click or escape. And then rotate. Yeah. I'm gonna go. We'll be using that later. This is foreshadowing. Oh yeah, and the increments. If you use control, it'll snap to increments. And if you use shift tab, it will make it so it's snapped automatically. And you can change how it snaps in these. So you have increments, grid, vertex, edges, faces, volume. There's a bunch of stuff in here, but we're not covering all that much. All right, it's time to go to edit mode. So I got 3 ways to get to edit mode. You go up here, you can go to edit mode there. You can hit tab, and it'll take you to edit mode from object mode. And then you can control tab, and you can see all the options for the object you've selected. You can go to edit mode that way. Look at that. Blender has so many ways of doing the same thing. It's time for selection modes. So this is the reason why I don't usually emulate the numpad, is because you can move selection modes with 1, 2, and 3 if you don't have the numpad emulated. And you got vertex, which are the corners, edges, which are the edges. Look at it go. The lines, I suppose. And the faces, which are, the faces. But we're going to stay in face select for this entire time. And then when you're making selections, you can, as you see, it changes. If you hit shift, it will keep your selection. You can like manually remove some. And if you hit control, it will make a path to what you have selected to what you'd select. Which is nice, though I don't usually use it that often. I think I only use it for like UV unwrapping. So now we get to step 3. So there's 2 ways to make the cuts that you need to the cube. You can use loop cut. When you're loop cutting, you can use the scroll bar to increase the cuts. So then you can just, but since it's all symmetrical, you can also right click on the cube, use subdivision. Then go into this little panel over here, and boom, all the cuts are done. Oh yes, I didn't say Control R. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, Control R is loop cuts. And you can also use the same panel as for subdivisions to change the number of cuts after the fact. Also, when you're doing loop cuts, it'll move around. If you right click, it'll just put it into the evenly spaced. Do you get that done? Your cube should look like this. If you go back into object mode, you're not going to see any of these cuts, right? Because they're all flat. So we're going to change that. Press A to get out all of your faces selected, and then we're going to press I to inset the faces. And you're going to see it doesn't do anything, but if you press I again, it'll do individual. And that'll allow you to do all of the insets at the same time. Just hitting I again will change the mode again. Yeah. Change to individual inset mode and make the interfaces. And now, while we still have it selected, we're going to use S to scale. You're going to scale them outward a little bit. Alt S, I suppose? Should fix it? Yeah, there we go. Alt S fixes it. So we're going to go over to the materials panel now. On the right side, underneath the properties tab over here, it's the bottom one. It's called materials. So first thing you want to do is add a new material. And this is going to cover the whole cube. Did my Blender just crash? Why? It's probably because I have OBS open, isn't it? Back to the materials. So that reminds me, we need to go into the material preview. But this just it changes how it renders in the viewport. Generally, you don't want to go into rendered until you're messing with lighting and whatnot. You'll probably stay in material or solid view. We're all here. We're in material view. We have our cube ready. So your cube should look white. And then we're going over to the materials panel at the bottom of the properties tab. Press new. You get your first material. You're going to change the base color to black. And it's going to make the whole cube black. Okay? Now that you've got that, you're going to go over here next to your material and click the plus button, which is add a material slot. And then you're going to add another new one. Make it whatever color you want, just, make it a color so that you can see it. And now, whatever faces you have selected, I have all of the faces selected at the moment. You're going to hit assign, and it should make it so your cube has two colors. That means it's time to animate the cube. Change back to object mode. Now we're going to go into the item panel. Oh, yeah, make sure you have the cube selected as well. You should have the playback bar, or the timeline bar, already at the bottom of the layout, just automatically. Now, you're going to see rotation in here. We're going over to rotation. Oh yeah, actually we should change the frame range first. So down here is the frame range on top of the timeline window. We're just going to have it only be 100 at the end. It's not super important for it to be any specific time. I just like making it shorter. And then once you do that, go to frame 0. And with all the rotations being 0, you're going to right click and you're going to add keyframes. Then you're going to move the scrub bar. You're going to put it to 101. And then you're going to change the rotations. It could be any rotation, but for the point of this, it's going to be 360 on the z-axis. Insert that keyframe. Make sure you're at 101. Once you've done that, if you play, it should play the animation. As you can see, it's not smooth. So what we want to do is we want to go and select our keyframes, right click, and change interpolation mode to linear. Now your cube should rotate. Because now we are into rendering. So first we're going to set the scene. Now we're going to go into rendered mode. This is the most intensive on a computer because this one is the one that adds lighting and all of the shader effects and stuff. All right, so we're going to add two things to the scene. First, we're going to add a light. You can use any of these, but I'm just going to use a sunlight and just turn it a little so like the three faces look different. Once you get your light into the scene, we're going to add the camera. Now, how do you see where the camera is, right? You go to camera mode, but you can hit the icon or you can hit numpad 0 and it'll put you into camera mode. Now you can use G to move it around, but if you press F3, you can look up walk navigation, which allows you to like walk around like you're in a video game. All right, so now it's time to render. So first, you're going to go to the Properties tab, the same one that had the materials in it. You're not going to render. They really switch it. You're going to output. First thing to do, you're going to here, you see the little folder. You can use it to send it to wherever you want it to actually be. Once you have where you're sending it to, you change the media type down here to video. And once you do that, it'll bring up this encoding panel. You want to switch from Matryoshka to MPEG4. So once you have it set, you're going to render it, which you can either do under the render tab, which is render animation, or you can hit Control F12. So up here you should see what frame you're on. It's just good for telling progress. Anyway, so that is the end, but I put some extra credit here. It covers so you can split windows. When it becomes the cross shape or the crosshairs shape, you can split it or you can join them. If you go up to the top corner, it should look like a grid right now. You can change the editor type to image editor. You can create an image. Then select cube, go back into materials, change your face texture, and at base color, you see this little dot right here, you can click it and use that to get to image texture. Oh, right, you need to save the image. One section. Open cube texture. If we switch the mode from object mode, you can do Control Tab or you can do it to texture paint. This is the secret of why I kept mine all one color. Boom. I can make you get some pretty cool cube. Do remember to save the image texture separately from the general Blender object. And then just, render animation. Yes. The cube. Oh, let's go. Claude uploaded theirs to the thing. Oh, it's got a little heart. You did the texture paint. It's got a little heart on it. How's the render going, Cosmic? Are you still with us?
Oh, it's not good. It stopped responding.
Oh, okay.
It might be crashing again.
You will make it through this, Cosmic's computer, I promise.
30 years from now, when this finishes rendering, I will upload it in the Rubik's Cube.